Number 1. The payphone. I worked the night shift at a campground, alone in a tiny shack surrounded by darkness. A guy who had just quit told me about a payphone a few feet away. It rings once every night at 4:17 a.m., he said. He'd never answered it. For months, I ignored it, but one summer night, windows open, I heard the ring, hollow and warped, like a sound underwater. Curiosity got me. I started setting my alarm for 4:15, standing by the phone to answer it. Every night for a week, I picked up. Dead silence. I stopped trying. Then one October morning, I answered again. I said, "Hello," over and over. On the other end came a sound, someone inhaling through clenched teeth. Then a gravelly voice spoke my full name, first, middle, last. I'd never heard that voice before. My throat froze. When I hung up, I tried *69. The number traced back to California. I lived in Indiana.
Number 2. The wrong bike. Near the end of my night shift, a rock smashed through a front window of my workplace. It was 11:30 p.m. in an empty industrial district. Shaken, I called security and decided to head home. I ran to my car, jumped in, and sped off. But halfway home, I realized something terrifying. I hadn't unlocked the car before getting in. It was already unlocked. I reached behind the seats to check, but no one was there. Trying to calm down, I called a friend who invited me out for drinks. Later, riding my bike under the moonlight, I noticed someone behind me. He slowly passed and gave me an unhinged smile. That's when I saw what he was riding, my mom's bike. I bolted home. Sure enough, her bike was missing, and one of my car doors, the one I never opened, was ajar.
Number 3. The lady next door. I rented a newly renovated apartment from a friend. At first, it was perfect, until I met the woman next door. She was in her mid-40s but looked decades older. Every night she'd stay up listening to loud Christian radio, arguing with someone who wasn't there. When I finally knocked to ask her to turn it down, I caught a glimpse inside. Crosses painted on every wall, words like Jesus and angels scrawled in random colors. Blacked out windows, stale carpets crawling with cockroaches. She just stared at me and shut the door. Then she turned the radio up even louder. One night I woke up to see a dark shape standing by my bed. I thought it was a dream until it spoke. It was my neighbor. She had broken in. Something glinted in her hand. "You should lock your doors at night," she whispered, and walked out. The next morning, I saw her outside talking to herself in tongues. She carried a plastic bag with the rotting body of her dead dog inside. The smell of death floated up to my window. Another neighbor told me she'd broken into his apartment too. He'd found her standing behind his couch holding a power drill. The police already knew her. She was a violent schizophrenic off her meds. They couldn't enter her apartment because she owned it. The only chance was to catch her outside. I waited 2 nights for her to leave for cigarettes. At 2 a.m., she stepped out, and within minutes, police vans swarmed and took her away. It was as if she had never existed. I still have nightmares of her staring at me while I slept.
Number 4. The bus driver. As a kid, I was always the last one the bus picked up for school. One morning, a school bus with no kids inside pulled up to my stop. The driver smiled and told me to hop on. I hesitated. "Where are the other kids?" I asked. "We'll pick them up next. Just get on," he said. His voice grew impatient. My gut screamed no. I stood my ground. After a moment, he shrugged and drove away. A few minutes later, the real school bus arrived. That night, when I told my parents, they were shaken. I still remember them frantically calling around. Number 5, last night. Last night, my friend dragged me out to a local bar for a music night. We grabbed a few drinks, and somewhere between the noise and the crowd, I realized my phone was missing. I retraced my steps, our table, the bathroom, even the bar counter. Nothing. Borrowing my friend's phone, I dialed my number. After 2 rings, someone picked up. A low, raspy chuckle hissed through the speaker. Then they hung up. No matter how many times I called back, no one answered again. Finally, I gave up, assuming it was gone. When I got home hours later, my phone was sitting on my nightstand, exactly where I'd left it.